Hi, my name is Rebecca Speck. I am an online student at Liberty University and I will graduate this May with my Bachelor's of Science in Developmental Psychology. This video is my interview reflections assignment and is for my capstone program. I was able to sit down and interview Opal McLaughlin. Opal is the current lead curriculum and training specialist at Eielson Air Force Base Child Development Center. Throughout this video, you may hear me refer to the Child Development Center as the CDC, just so there's no confusion there with that acronym. Opal holds a bachelor's degree in elementary education K through 8 from New Mexico State University. She also holds a master's in early childhood studies from Walden University. She has been the lead curriculum and training specialist for the last 3 years. She's also had to dual hat some positions where she was the acting director or acting assistant director at times when there was employment gaps. Excuse me. Some of her job duties at the CDC as the lead training and curriculum specialist are to know and implement the policies of the U.S. Air Force and any base specific policies as well. She also has to know the policies of caring for our children, which is from the National Health and Safety Performance Standards Guidelines for early care and education programs. She also is well versed in the NAEYC, which is the National Association of Education of Young Children, and any policies that they have geared towards providers of early childhood education. Some of her responsibilities, she has a lot as the lead training and curriculum specialist, but some of them are going into the classroom and making observations of the interactions with the teachers and the children, and then coming back in at a later point and going over the observations, helping the providers with skills or discussing any areas of where they really excelled, as well as any areas where they just need to kind of brush up on their skills. She also oversees the training of all of the providers. So each of them, the Air Force requires that they work on their virtual lab schools, and those are geared specifically towards the age group that the provider works in, but that they move through those. So she's always keeping those up to date and making sure that the providers are moving through, or if they're having any problems, helping them be successful in that training. Some of the other job duties she has is observing children. So if there's a child who might be displaying challenging behaviors or delays, her providers can ask her to come in and she will make observations. If there is a need for more assistance, she will call in the rest of the leadership of the CDC, as well as outside agencies, to get the ball rolling to help this child, whether it's with challenging behaviors or delays, whatever is needed. So another job duty she has is really cultivating those relationships with outside agencies to help bring them in when needed, and just know what's available here in the interior of Alaska while she's working with the military families that are stationed here. Outside the classroom, she is responsible for purchasing supplies for the classrooms, as well as any additional training materials that might be beneficial to the providers. She also she maintains a relationship with both of the military hospitals here, and the information that they have, especially for new parents, just so that if new parents are feeling unsure about how to interact with their child, she can provide them with outside services. So those outside services is a really big part of her job duties. When we talked about some of the things that she finds fulfilling about working in the child development industry, she really focused on the fact that she's constantly learning herself, whether it's learning how to help the providers create a an environment that is really inviting to the children and to the families, or how to interact with families. Excuse me. She just loves learning with the providers or passing on that information to the parents. She also enjoys building up the morale of the staff. Childcare can be a difficult career field. I know, I've been in it for quite some time, and just ensuring that the staff feels good about being at work, that when they see her, it's not just, oh, Opal's coming to critique how I'm interacting with the children, but having a good relationship with them. So she really enjoys that part of her job. She also enjoys when parents who might have been struggling and come to her and say, you know, you really helped me, or my providers have really been able to help me interact with my child, whether again it's with a child with a delay or just your normal developing children. A lot of our military families are young, and so they're also learning as they're having children. Some of the challenges that she talked about, one that was probably definitely not unique to this career field, is not an 8-hour-a-day job. And it's hard to learn to shut it off and take a break. She said that that's really important. Also, self-care for the providers and for herself. There's not always a lot of extra training time or downtime for the providers or herself to engage in self-care, especially serving the military community in the high demand for childcare, also with the unique schedules that military members hold. She feels that professional development days or lack of staff is another struggle that she has to deal with, finding qualified staff, but also training them and keeping them in the career long enough for them to start feeling successful and feeling like they have their feet under themselves to interact with children and know what to do in a variety of situations. When we talked about how she goes about professional growth, the Air Force does not require anything specific from her, but she is constantly seeking out articles on child development, interacting with other trainers around the world, essentially, being able to go to them and say, hey, this is a situation we have at our CDC. Have you experienced this? What have you been able to do to help in those situations? Books, webinars. She just looks for any and all information that she can engage in. But again, she does not have a requirement for continual training. Recommendations for somebody wanting to work in this field was to definitely have a background in early childhood education or elementary education, to have been in the classroom so you know what the providers are experiencing. She said this is a great job for someone who wants to work with children, but may not necessarily want to work directly with the children or in a classroom. Another thing that she said, specifically working in a child development center on a military installation, is understanding the military and the different idiosyncrasies that come with the different branches. So just having a background knowledge of the military overall and then the different branches, understanding the fast-paced mission that the parents are on. So that was another big thing that she said, just to be well versed in. The things I took away from this interview was there are a lot of opportunities for someone pursuing a developmental psychology degree, that it doesn't just necessarily have to be directly working with children, although that is the best part of it, but to be able to help those who are working with the children and still have a huge impact on the outcomes. So that was a really important thing that I took away from this. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. I hope you have a great day.